Hello and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us. I am Julian. I'm part of the Learning and Content Management team. And joining me from the Learning and Content Management team are my colleagues Anita, Jennifer, and Nikita. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items. Firstly, please take a few moments to complete the poll you will see on your screen. If you have any questions at any time during the session, please use the Q&A box to send your question directly to us. We will try to answer as many questions as possible during the session today. If we cannot answer all the questions, we will reply to you directly after the session. We will also cover some of the questions at the end of the session. For the best view, you might wish to drag the central bar on your screen to the right to enlarge the screen that I'm sharing. And you may also wish to enable the live transcript via the bar on the bottom of your screen. Finally, our session is being recorded and you will be sent a link when the recording is ready. Now let's take a look to our agenda for today. We will start by giving you an overview of the author submission process in Editorial Manager. Please note that the steps may vary depending on the journal configuration and the type of articles being submitted. We will also have a look at how to use the declaration tool when submitting a manuscript. Elsevier declaration tool quickly and easily helps authors to create a comprehensive statement which incorporates the International Committee of Medical Journals Editors declaration standards. This declaration tool will produce a statement in a Word format that can be uploaded alongside your manuscript and will appear in your published article. We will provide you a brief explanation of the various editorial status your submission may progress to in Editorial Manager. Finally, we will provide some information on the co-authorship verification. Now, let's go to the Editorial Manager test site. We're going to explore the author submission process. Please note that I'm going to be using a training site for the demonstration with dummy users and dummy submissions. The training site is a good replica of the live environment, but it will look slightly different to your own profile. So don't worry if you don't see things today that you normally see when you log in your profile. This might be due to rights and permissions granted for each role that may vary journal to journal. Okay. I'm going to change to the training site. Okay, take a look here. Okay. Anita, could you confirm that I'm sharing the training site?
Yes. Yes,
okay, thank you. Okay. This is a training site, a journal training site. So it's going to be very similar to your journal. Okay, if you're a new user, you need to click on register now here to create an account. And if you already have an account and you would like to retrieve your username or reset your password, you can click here and send login details. If the system finds a matching email address, you will receive an email containing your username and the link to reset your password. I already have an account here, and I'm going to log in as an author. Okay. Once you are in the author main menu, you can update your information from here, clicking your name and click on update my information. For example, if there's a change in your institution, or this doesn't mean that you have to create a new account. You just log in your profile, your account, go to update my information, and update your affiliation details. Email address, you can update your email address or any other information. And with this, we will avoid having a duplicated account for a single journal. Okay, before submitting a manuscript, please check the instructions to authors that you are going to find here in About, Instructions for Authors. Basically, the instructions for authors will contain guidelines on the manuscript word count, file requirements, and other important information for your submission. So it's important to familiarize yourself with the journal. Then once you are ready to begin with the submission process, you need to click in Submit New Manuscript. Here, the system is going to show you any incomplete submission or pending submissions. And if you don't have any incomplete submissions, you can click on Now Start a New Manuscript. In my case, I'm going to use this one, that prepare, by clicking on Select and Continue. Okay, the first section is article type selection. You can select the article type from the drop-down menu. If you're submitting a special issue, please ensure that you are selecting the right and appropriate special issue. And sometimes the journal can require you to include an ORCID record. In my case, I'm going to select a full-length article type, and I'm going to click on Proceed. Okay, we are in the Attached File section. Here you have two options to upload your files. The first one is Browse, or the second one is Drag and Drop. With Browse, you can access to your computer files, and then with the Drag and Drop, you can just take your file and drag it and drop it here in the blue box. By default, the system will select the manuscript file type as a first file. And here we can see that mandatory files have an asterisk. And also you will see here the mandatory files in the left side of the submission page. You can, when you select the research data, you will be asked to enter an URL where your data is hosted. and provide additional information such as a repository name and title of the dataset. In the future, it will also become possible to upload data directly into Mendeley data. And for some journals, a cover letter is mandatory. A cover letter is a simple, brief business letter designed to introduce your manuscript to a prospective editor. If the guide for authors doesn't specify what to include in your cover letter, you may wish to include some of the following items. Specify special considerations that should be given to the paper, a brief background regarding the research involved or how the data was collected, and details of any previous or current submissions. It is also useful to provide the editor-in-chief with any information that will support your submission, for example, original or confirmatory data, relevance, and topicality. I'm going to select the type cover letter and go into My Files and drag and drop the cover letter here. You will see that the system is uploading the cover letter, and we have the cover letter here. And another file that is mandatory is the declaration of interest that I'm going to upload here. Sorry, I'm going to select first declaration of interest, and now drag and drop. And we have our declaration of interest here. In the description file field, you can edit in case that, for example, if by mistake you select the wrong item, then you can change that from here and edit the description file as well. Field, sorry. And then for the declaration of interest, we will explain this in more details in a few minutes. But yeah, in either event, such as a statement is mandatory from an ethics perspective. So we have also a short video about how we can use the declaration of interest tool in Editorial Manager, and we will share that video with you in a second. Okay, once we have all the files that we require to proceed with the submission, we're going to click in Proceed. Now we're in General Information step, where we will have different requirements depending on your journal. You might be asked to select the region of origin and select a section, category, and also classification. Some of them are mandatory, and you have to select one of, for example, classification in this case is a mandatory file section, and you have to click in Add Classification. You will see this pop-up window and select one of the options available in your journal. When you select one, click on Add, and then click on Submit. You can select all of them at once as well. And when you complete all this section, you can click on Proceed. Then in Reviewer Preference, depending on the journal requirements, you will see different options on the Review Preference. You have the option to request an editor to handle your paper. You will have the option to suggest reviewers. or also to oppose reviewers, the people that you don't want that act as a reviewer in your paper. Please know that these are preference only. The editor might not use the suggestions. So once you, and also to suggest a reviewer, you will need to include first name, last name, institution, and email address. They are mandatory information. And once you have that information, you have to click in the icon to save that reviewer. Okay, once you have all the information complete, you can click on proceed. Then the additional information step presents you with questionnaire, which the journal used to collect useful information. You can respond by selecting the drop-down or selecting the right answer. Please know that this one is by default here, but this is not an answer, so you need to click here in order to select that option. And this one is by default like that. So once you have all this done, you can click on proceed. And we are now in the comment section. That this section gives you the opportunity to enter any additional comments for the journal office. These comments will not appear directly in your submission. So you can write your message to the editorial office and then click on proceed. Finally, we are in the manuscript data step. The system may automatically pull some of the data from your manuscript file to pre-populate the fields on the manuscript step, manuscript data step, sorry. But yeah, any required field are marked with a red asterisk. So you have to check all the sections to be sure that you have all the information. So the first one is the title. Then you have the abstract. Be aware of the limit because yeah, you can, if you enter more than 100 words, in this case, you will receive an error and then you will not be able to create the final PDF of your submission. Then we have keywords. They have to be separated by semicolons. And then we have the author section. Here we can see that we have an alert icon here because some information is missing. So we're going to check that by clicking in this icon. And we can see that here I need to select the contributor role. So I click in the icon, select the information, and click on save. And that alert icon disappears. And again, I'm going to show you it's important to provide the mandatory information. You will see an asterisk here. And with the institution, it's essential to choose your institution from the drop-down menu. I'm going to show you that. You can see here we have a drop-down menu. As you might be eligible for institutional and society discounts that can reduce your article publishing charges for Gold Open Access. Sorry. So yeah, it's important to select this. And yeah, save it. Another thing that you can do from here is just change the order from dragging and drop the authors. In this case, we have Mark Smith as a first author and Jack Hill as a corresponding author. Also, co-authors may receive an email notification from the journal. So we have a video about how co-authors can verify their participation in the manuscript, and we will share that video with you. And once everything is ready here, we can click on next and go to the last part of this section is funding information. Basically here you will add any funding information that you have for your paper. We have a small guide here where we explain why it's important and how to complete this section. Basically, just clicking add on funding source, and you will have to enter this information. If you didn't receive any funding, just mark this checkbox here, and this is done. Then, if at any time during the process you need to stop the submission process, and because you need to get more information about something, you can come to this section, manuscript data, and go to save and submit later, and this will save your submission in the incomplete submission folder, and then you can come back to this submission and continue with the step that you stop and continue with the submission of your manuscript. And then when everything is ready to create the PDF, we are going to click in here, build PDF for approval. Some journals will ask authors to select a open access publishing option during the submission process, and you will see that option before creating the PDF. Okay, we have here the manuscript. In order to continue with the submission of your manuscript, you have to click in View Submission. This will download the PDF with all the information that you provide and with all the documents. If you need to change something, you can click in Edit Submission. If everything is okay, just need to click in I accept for the accept publishing ethics guidelines and copyright terms, and then click on Approve Submission. I'm going to click here. In our case, we are going to proceed with our ORCID ID, and we are going to confirm that we want to approve this submission by clicking OK. Okay, now your submission is submitted to the journal for consideration, and you will receive an email confirmation of this. In case that if you would like to edit your submission file, you will have to contact the journal manager or the support team who will be able to update your submission. If you want more information on the submission process, please watch our author submission process video that we will share with you in a moment. Important thing that you will see here a question icon here. By clicking here, you can contact with the Elsevier chat support, which is available 24/7, and they can help you to and assist you with any question during the submission process or with any login issue. Okay, you have also FAQs here and important information in the announcement section. Okay, I want to close this. And we're going to see that our submission now is submission being processed folder with the status manuscript submitted. Okay, now we're going to go back to the submission process. And we're going to see and look the declaration tool in more detail. I'm going to drag and drop the manuscript. Okay. And we're going to see the declaration tool. As I mentioned before, for some journals, this is a mandatory file. Transparent disclosure of potential competing interests is essential to meeting your ethical obligations and nurturing trust in science. So Elsevier now offers the declaration tool in Editorial Manager that quickly and easily helps authors create a comprehensive statement which incorporates the International Committee of Medical Journals Editors declaration standards. This statement can be uploaded as a Word document alongside your manuscript and will appear in your published article. To access to the declaration of interest, you have to click in this link, and it will open this page. You will be taken to the declaration tool homepage. Here, you can read further information about declaring your interest and how and when you're ready. Begin with your declaration. Please know that for some journals, the option "I have nothing to declare" link maybe be present or not. Should be obviously used only when you don't have, when you are 100% sure that you don't have nothing to declare, and then this will create a document with that information. For other journals, this link is not available, so you have to click in Start My Declaration and then indicate that you don't have nothing to declare. So we're going to start with the declaration by clicking on Start My Declaration. And the first step is reported work. And we will see the research support for this reported work, where you will declare any support that you or any of your co-authors received from certain type of third parties since the initial conception of this research. Know that you don't need to list academic institutions or public funding sources from charitable foundations or government agencies here. You might fill in the details of this support by typing the organization name here, selecting any relevant financial support or non-financial support. And if you need to add any funding source, you can click here. And also it's important to provide the author name who received the support. If you don't have nothing to declare here, you can click on this button to toggle off. And you can either save your declaration for later if you are not sure about any information and you need to go back later to this. And this is going to be available up to 30 days. So you can click here and then come back to your declaration. But if everything is correct, you can click in next, and we'll go to other support. Under the relevant support outside this reported work, you should disclose if you or any of your co-authors have any financial interest or personal relationships related to the subject matter, but not directly to the manuscript. The time frame for other support is within the last 3 years. Again, you can fill in the relevant fields with organization name, author name, and select the type of relationship that apply. And you can add another relationship if you need, or you can click here to toggle off this option if you don't have nothing to declare. And we're going to click next to see the intellectual property, patents on intellectual property, allows you to disclose any relevant patents or copyright license to you or any of your co-authors. Once you have either filled this or presses the toggle off, you can click on next. Okay, now we are in other activities. Basically, in this page, you can submit any further information that a reader could perceive to have influenced the work that has not been covered in the previous pages. So you can add here any information that you want. And when you finish, you can click in review declaration, or you can click in toggle off and then click in review declaration. This screen summarizes all the information that you have provided. You may click on the back button to go back to any of the previous section if you want to edit the information, or click on submit and download if you're happy with the content. Here you will be offered the option to enter your email address to save your declaration statement. You will receive the sample prompt if you wish to save your progress at any time while you are using the tool. So if you do this, you will be prompted to enter a one-time passcode, and you can then download your declaration. You can also go back to this tool and download the declaration again for the next 30 days if you use this option. And then you have the option to select no thanks. I want to download the declaration without saving. I'm going to click here. And this will create a declaration statement that then I'm going to use to upload that file in the attached file section in my submission. So it's important that you select the declaration of interest file type and then drag and drop the file here. Then if you save the declaration because you want to access later, you can access from this link and enter your information and click and get passcode to access to your declaration. If you want more information about this step, please watch up our video using the declaration tool in Editorial Manager that we will share with you in a second. Okay, now I'm going to switch back to my presentation. Okay, in the last part of this webinar, we will give you a brief explanation of various editorial status that your submission could have during the editorial process. Okay, so as we saw before, when an author finishes writing this paper and submit the paper to the journal, the system shows the status of that manuscript as manuscript submitted. Based on the workflow of the journal, the editorial office or editors performs a technical check on your submission. And they will check the manuscript word count, format, figures, quality, etc. And the next step is assigning either to the editor-in-chief or an associate editor for further handling. Journals usually have multiple associate editors who are experts in a particular niche within the broader subject area. Your manuscript will be handled by the editor who has the highest level of understanding and experience with your paper research topic. And the status remains with editors until the editor either makes a decision or invites reviewers. The handling editor has different action choices, can make a desk reject decision or send the paper for revision to the author or invite reviewers. The editor conducts an initial screening of your paper and assess it against several criteria such as novelty, priority, and scope. If your paper is a better match for another journal, you may be offered a manuscript transfer. Also, it's possible that your paper doesn't meet some of the assessment criteria, and then the editor will reject it before going into peer review. So if the editor decides that your paper is a good match for the journal, they will identify 2 or 3 independent reviewers, depending on the journal configuration, and send them an invitation to review your manuscript. When the editors invite the reviewers, the status of the manuscript changes to under review. Once the required a number of reviewers, the required numbers of reviews are received and recommendations were submitted to the journal, the status of your manuscript shows as required reviews completed. The handling editor carefully studies the review reports. It can happen that the referee reports are conflicting, in which case the editor needs to find additional reviewers. When this happens, your submission returns to under review status. When the editor has received enough high-quality feedback from the reviewers, they will begin the decision-making process and move the status to decision in process. The decision may need to be confirmed by multiple editors in some journals, so the manuscript moves to the editor-in-chief account. The editor-in-chief submits his or her decision. We'll see here it can be revised. The editor has requested that you revise the submission, and you will find the details of changes required and the deadline for your revision in the decision letter. Can also be accept or reject. The submission process has completed with either an accept or reject decision. In the case of an accept decision, the manuscript will begin the production process, and you will receive further information. Then we have transfer pending. The editor has rejected your paper and suggests to transfer your manuscript. So the editor has recommended you the submission be transferred to another journal via our automatic article transfer service, and you are offered a transfer. So the editor or the editorial office will wait for your response before proceeding. And that will be the status of transfer pending. Once you accept the transfer, then the submission will be transferred to another journal. We will have also published a video on submission status explainer, which will explain how your submission progresses after submitting the manuscript, and the link of the video will be posted in the chat for you. Okay, now we are going to talk about a little bit about submission tracker. We have introduced now a submission tracker tool to more than 2,000 journals. Once a journal is using a submission tracker, an email is sent to the corresponding author when the first reviewer is invited. As you can see from the screenshot, the email contains a link to the submission tracker landing page where the author can view the status of the review process of their submission. Now, note that the same link will remain active through the end-to-end peer review process. We expect to have the submission tracker tool available to all the journals in the near future. I'm going to show you a screenshot of the submission tracker page, so you can see that here you will see the reviews complete number, the review invitations accepted, and how many invitations were sent. And also you will see more information about your manuscript number, corresponding authors, and the submission date. Then some advice for you. At Elsevier, we want to help you to stay safe when you're publishing your articles. So we are aware that there are a number of scams in operation which seek to fraudulently obtain money from authors. Typically, these schemes take the form of emails trying to be from a journal's editorial office, asking the authors to pay a fee. Often this request is made at the same time they announcing that the paper has been accepted for publication, even though in reality it is still in the editorial review workflow. So these are some tips on how you can avoid being scammed and stay safe when publishing. I would like to especially mention that any email from Elsevier will contain this address at elsevier.com. Also be aware of misspellings, casual or unprofessional language. And also regarding the request for payment, especially if you have not chose to publish in a core open access journal, you should be wary of any communication requesting that you transfer money to enable a publication. Because basically, all open access journals, Elsevier will only ask for a payment after your paper has been accepted for publication and not before. And again, if you have any doubts about if the email that you receive is can be a potential scam, you can contact with our support team that it will help you with that. Now we're going to see the co-authorship verification. So when submitting a manuscript, authors are asked to list all the co-authors of the submission. So as we saw in the manuscript data step, Editorial Manager journals request to add your co-authors, and then the system will request co-authors confirm their co-authorship, as this will help to ensure that authorship includes all individuals who have made a significant contribution to the conception, design, execution, or interpretation of the manuscript. So how do I verify my contribution as a co-author? You will receive an email. So that in this email, you will request to verify your contribution as a co-author. You will receive this email when a new manuscript is submitted to the journal, or when your corresponding author is submitting the revision or revised version of the manuscript. So yeah, then the co-author will receive this email notification that contains a deep link to verify your co-authorship. Some journals will ask you that you need to have an account or register and then log in to confirm your co-authorship, which will also allow you to view the status of the submission. So we can see an example here where you need to enter your login credentials or register an account in order to verify your co-authorship. And then you will see when you log in, you will see in the submission being processed the manuscript and the status of the manuscript. We have also created a video on co-author verification, so that will be shared with you in the chat section. So we have also an author guide to Editorial Manager. I'm going to share that, show you that guide in a bit. Basically, in this guide, you will find learning pathway that will include links to instructional videos and articles. This learning pathway will guide you to the author key tasks, such as manuscript submission process and tracking manuscript status, and so on. I'm going to share that with you in a second. And you can see here all the different sections and materials that we have ready for you. And then coming back to the presentation, we have some practical guidance for writing on an effective results section for a research paper. This is our Do You Know corner section. So I'm going to share with you some tips. Always use simple and clear language. Avoid the use of uncertain or out of focus expression. The finding of the study must be expressed in an objective and unbiased manner. While it's acceptable to correlate certain findings in the discussion section, it is best to avoid over-interpreting the results. If the research addresses more than one hypothesis, use subsections to describe the results. And this prevents confusion and promotes understanding. Ensures that negative results are included in this section, even if they don't support the research hypothesis. And wherever it's possible, use illustrations like tables, figures, charts, or other visual representations to showcase the results of your research paper. Mention this illustration in the text, but do not repeat the information that they convey. And then for statistical data, it is adequate to highlight this test and explain the result. The initial or raw data should not be mentioned in the results section of a research paper. Basically, this brings us to the end of our webinar today. Thank you for listening. After this session, we will send you an email with that will contain some of the helpful links to the webinar recording, some short video guides that relate directly to the topic that we saw today. So please look out for that email. And again, a gentle reminder to please take a few moments to complete the poll that will appear in your screen before you can leave. Your answers will help us to deliver more webinars and also improve our webinars. So again, thank you for joining us. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Ulyan, there are just two outstanding questions we're trying to answer. So
okay.
Once we're done with the questions, I'll let you know. Then we can go ahead and close the session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.